I spoke to Ben and his doctors before we got here. It was clear that the medical treatment of spinal patients in Samoa is very different to New Zealand, partly because of those limited facilities. Dr. Enosa says there is a fundamental ignorance about what it is to have a spinal injury. People don't realise that damage can be permanent, and they certainly have no idea of what's involved in daily life. Ben's rehabilitation is hampered by what's on offer here. There isn't even a physiotherapist on the island to ensure he can maximise his very limited function. Wheeling down the corridor, guess what I hear? Rugby on the radio. Ben has been home in the months since his accident, but his uncles brought him back for the treatment of bed sores. Someone with Ben's level of injury, who can't move at all, needs to be constantly turned, every 2 hours. If not, pressure sores can develop. These bed sores can become infected and life-threatening. The hospital's understaffed, so family and nurses need to work together.
It is very important to try and incorporate the family members or the caregivers to help out with nursing care as well, due to the shortage as well. I mean, we would at least have, this is the main surgical ward, we would at least have 30 to 40, sometimes 50 patients, and we only have 2 or 3 nurses on duty. So you can imagine, I mean, the nurses cannot afford to keep turning Ben every 2 hours.
Any idea when you'll get to get out of hospital?
Yeah, waiting for. It's depend on my bed, so if it's good, then go home.
Much of the equipment surrounding Ben, his sheets, bandages, and even his hospital bed are donations flown over from New Zealand. Ben's plight attracted huge media coverage in New Zealand. Companies like Invacare quickly came to his aid. Even the All Blacks got behind a massive campaign that's raised more than $300,000. A trust was formed in Ben's name to help pay for all of the supplies and support that Ben's going to need for daily life now. It's ironic, really. Ben hoped to make a living from rugby. Now rugby has provided for his future, just not how he planned.
Further uphill.
Dr. Enosa says it's great that Ben has a trust fund, but many others could do with the same help.
That was one thing when I spoke to the media personnel yesterday. I mean, I'm just wondering and puzzled, you know, why Ben in particular? Why couldn't we have done all this attention and media hype and all this fundraising support for all the other spinal injuries that we have, and not just Ben?
Dr. Enosa is one of few doctors with knowledge of spinal injury in the country. He does the best he can with the resources available.
Hello, Ben. Well, how are you this morning?
Very well.
Very well. Did you get some good rest last night?
Yes.
Yeah? Did you have anything to eat this morning? No? Why not?
Just waiting for lunch.
Waiting for the lunch.
Ben's family village is 2 hours from the hospital on the other side of the island. Ben's uncle Soma has agreed to be his main caregiver. Ben needs someone with him day and night. Doctors are concerned he has been in hospital for so long. For his mental health, he needs to go home. The fact that he is eating today is a good thing.
I think depressed at times, because with this depression as well, you could it shows with his nutritional status as well. I mean, he refuses to eat, and we can only do so much as encouraging and trying to motivate him to eat. But if he refuses, what can we do? I mean, you can't force food down any patient's mouth or, you know, throat. How often are you getting your dressings? Daily or twice a day?
Twice a day.
Twice a day, oh, that's good. And all these dressing stuff, are they provided by hospital or were they funded by the trust?
It's from the trust.
The trust from New Zealand. Luckily, with supporting family and community, and as well as the medical personnel, we try to encourage him, try to make him see the positive side of life and all that.
The vital first phase of treating a spinal patient is to place the neck in traction, often using something called a crutch-field traction. But here in Samoa, there is only one available.
Yeah. And there have been incidences where we have more than one. I mean, it's very fortunate if we just have one spinal injury of the neck where we would need the crutch field traction, and they come one at a time. But if we have two or coinciding incidences or more than two, then unfortunately the other two, I mean, first come, first serve. So hence, there's been more than one incidence where we would have to put one patient on the crutch field traction, whereas the others will just have to do with a Philadelphia rigid collar, or if none is available or fits properly, then we'll have to just put a soft collar there, or any means of immobilization of the neck.
What's that like for you as a doctor?
Very frustrating in the sense that you know that there are some spinal injury, especially spinal cases or spinal injuries, that could probably have a better chance of recovery, a better chance of some improvement in their neurological deficit or function. But because of the non-availability of or non-readily availability of resources and a specialized spinal unit, we have shortage, not only a shortage of doctors, shortage of nurses, no physiotherapists on island at the moment. Can you move the hand? No? Okay, what about the shoulders? Can you move the shoulders? All right. Can you feel me touch here? Yeah? What about here?
Yeah.
Okay. What about below here?
Yeah.
Can you feel this?
Yeah.
Yeah? Can you feel any pain?
No pain.
No pain. Okay. Just a light touch. We improvise. We try to make do with what we have, and we also relay and correspond a lot with our New Zealand counterparts as well, via this PIP program, Pacific Island Project, or via New Zealand aid scheme as well. And they try and help whenever and however they can. Well, if you have any pains or any problems, then you just make sure you let the nurses know, and then the nurses will inform us, and we'll make sure to offer you some medication or an injection for any pain or discomfort. Huh? You just keep on eating, keep on praying, keep on watching your DVDs. Huh? All right. Who's that? Richie McCaw. No, it's not my favorite team though. All right, Ben.
So I think it's a bad condition. I try to move it, but it can move, but it's a little bit. I believe God will give me another chance to do what I want. Yeah.
It seems no one has actually explained to Ben that he won't play rugby again. I don't dare say anything either.
This is your mum? Dan. How are you? This is the rest of the crew.
Late morning, Ben's mother arrives for her daily visit. Ben is the oldest of 7 kids. She finds it hard to talk about the accident and the long-term impact it will have on her entire family.
It's very difficult to look after Ben from now on. It's very easy for her to look after its kids rather than Ben, because he's a good character, he's a good rugby player. So it's very difficult for him now, because she said that it's been caring for him like a baby when he was born now.
Mum talks of her own big dreams for Ben, to play professional rugby and money he would have earned. The family had pinned their hopes on the talented young player.
Sometimes she's happy, but she saw her son lying like this on the bed, it's very difficult for her to imagine how Ben was very fit when he was elected to be the under 20 player for Samoa, and she's very her feeling is emotional.
Meeting his mum was, it was pretty tough. It was seeing Ben's reaction to what his mother was saying as well. Just knowing that it's the same feeling as every parent, I guess, just being completely helpless, just wanting to do everything and not being able to do anything. I came away from that feeling pretty much like a white boy who couldn't really offer much at all. I think I went into it, knowing his level of injury, but just not realising how disabled he is compared to me. And coming over to Samoa with all my knowledge and experience, I thought I could offer something, but really I just never come away feeling so helpless and really not being able to do anything at all.
10 members of Ben's family live here. It's communal living. A few small sleeping whales and one large central kitchen. They raise their own animals and crops.
Maybe if you just hold the chair.
There are no pathways here, just grass tracks. I'm glad it's been trampled because grass isn't the easiest to wheel through. Ben's injury is so severe, there's no way he'll be able to wheel himself. Ben's new whale is underway, but at this stage it's a few posts and roof struts.
See if I can get down here without falling out. I should be sweet. I got it. Okay.
The plan is to run electricity for a hoist and electric bed.
How's he going to get there though? How does he get all the way up from the road into the building?
They're gonna make the road from over there down here to his house.
2 rooms?
One room and toilet and shower.
What other equipment will he need? Or does he have?
Yeah, he already have lots of pillows, sheets,
A bed?
a bed.
What sort of wheelchair?
The electric wheelchair.
How's he going to drive a power chair without the use of hands?
I'm the one who's responsible for it.
They're still learning what Ben might be able to do. I'm already thinking Ben could control an electric wheelchair himself. They just have to rig it so that he can control it, maybe with his chin.
A manual chair as well?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How's Ben about it all? He must be excited. He must be hanging out for it.
Yes, he just want to come home and enjoy in his valley.
Any bit of independence will be huge. Soma's already told me Ben's depressed.
It's kind of hard, but the thing is, we talk sometimes and I ask him how's he coping till now when the accident happened, and he said that all I want is to walk again and I don't want to play rugby anymore.
Ben's Uncle Soma has young children of his own, but he takes his family duty very seriously. Ben's his focus now.
I'm his caregiver from the beginning till now and to the future. I think it's kind of boring lying on this bed, just lie there and do nothing, and I feel sorry for him, even if he's not walking but we're really happy to have him back home, still talking and laughing, all those things.
Still the same Ben?
Yeah. Still the same.
When I first arrived, I couldn't imagine how someone with Ben's level of injury could live here.
So I've sought out a bit of shade because I'm cooking. I've been here about a couple of hours and I'm really struggling to handle the heat. And it's not because of, just coming from New Zealand or coming from winter. This is part of my injury, being a tetraplegic, I just cannot handle the heat anymore. I can't regulate my temperature. That's going to be the same for Ben. And I really don't know how he's going to handle it, if he even knows about what to expect once he gets here back home.
Taking care of Ben at home is going to be a full-time job for Soma. Someone with Ben's level of injury requires round-the-clock care.
From the outside looking in, it could be easy to say that once Ben gets out of hospital, he should stay in Apia. With his level of disability, it would just be easier. And you could even say, with the money that's been raised for Ben, that should go to a registered nurse to look after him so that his uncle Soma can go back to work. But being here, being in the village, meeting his family, you quickly realise that he'll be going home to the right place.
Back in town at the Maris Rugby Club, Ben's old team is training.
Behind me, that's Ben's teammates. They're the ones that were with him on that day. And this is the very field where he broke his neck.
These guys know all about doing their stretches and warming up before a match. But they never realised the impact those crunching tackles could have until Ben's accident.
Every time I come to this field, I always think about Ben's case. It's very sad when on that day, so especially that kind of injury, a serious one. Contact games right now, you can't go inside there expect that you're not gonna get injured. Yeah. So the most important thing now, you have to ensure yourself first, and before you go into contact game now. So the safety is the most important thing right now in rugby, in world rugby.
As we talk, another awful reality emerges. The minutes immediately after an accident are crucial for anyone who has a spinal injury. The rule is, don't move them. Teammate Andrew was the one who took Ben to the hospital. At the time, no one knew Ben had broken his neck. The guys thought they were doing the right thing. They helped him up, bundled him into a car and headed off to find a doctor. That movement could have further contributed to the damage of his spine.
I was crying on that day when I finally, because I was the one who was there with Ben the whole time. When we find out the story about him, and then when we found out that his spinal cord is gone, then we just stand there, look at each other, and then Ben was just lying there, didn't know anything. He didn't know anything, and then he said, and then I asked him, he said, "Are you okay?" And then he said, "Yes." He always said yes every time. He's a strong young man.
Aside from the obvious physical limitations of getting around Samoa in a wheelchair, the big thing I've noticed here is a bit of a curiosity. I think there is a general lack of awareness just because people don't see anyone or know anyone in a wheelchair. This will be part of the challenge for Ben as he starts to rebuild his new life.
Ben is still in a major phase of adjustment. He lies in bed watching reruns of rugby, but he knows the sport he's so passionate about put him here.
Do you still think about what happened?
Yeah,
Every day?
every day. I don't want to happen again.
To anyone?
Yeah.
Too few people here in Samoa realise that playing rugby has dangerous consequences. Helping Ben is a wonderful thing, but what's really needed is a change of focus on the football field. Hitting hard isn't the be-all and end-all. Ben now knows this only too well. Spending time with Ben had a huge impact on me. He's such an incredible guy. I'm really looking forward to seeing him again soon.